number 8, Josh. I need to keep an eye on our Roadcast mixer here and make sure something weird doesn't happen. So it's nice because that big red light, the record light, it lights up red.
Yeah.
So as soon as if it goes green or blue, I know something's wrong. So anyway, so August 3rd.
August 3rd.
We were just talking about how quick the year's.
Yeah.
4 months from Christmas.
The first NFL preseason game was Thursday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Geez.
So if that doesn't tell you where we're heading
we're
as far as
there.
the year goes.
How about the crappy weather we've had?
Yeah.
So yesterday we had a big event for work, which was totally awesome.
It was a good time. I mean, Bees and the Rocker were there.
Yeah, and thank you. Glad you had a good time. I appreciate the nice compliments.
That was awesome. Yeah.
But you know what's crazy too is it was a downpour. So we're outside at Spike's Bar Beach Grill in Warsaw. It's a downpour. Everybody's out on the volleyball courts, the sand courts out there. Downpour. Nobody left. They stayed out there and played volleyball. I'm sitting up there. Bees and I, quit, of course, because we grabbed that food and brought it up to the stage so it didn't get wrecked.
Saved the day, really.
We're watching people play volleyball. I'm like, it's pouring and they're still playing. Bees is like, holy cow, they're dedicated. I'm like, oh yeah, they're a bunch of
I think
athletes.
A lot of people are looking forward to getting out there on the sand and playing around. I didn't see the cornhole tournament going on, so I don't know if they kept going or not, but it looked like it.
Yeah, probably. I actually brought my bags for one of the sets. I should have brought the Bees, and I have an awesome. I'll have to show you. We have an awesome cornhole set.
Do you?
Bees and Rock. Oh yes,
that's awesome.
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I can show you. My friend from Single Barrel Designs built them for us. Built them by hand. He's one of the best. He
makes cool.
Like, how some of them are generic and they're just put together. You know, these things will last for 25 years. He paints them. Oh, my goodness, they look great. So
that's awesome.
I'll have to show those to you. But, yeah, I used the bags.
Yeah.
Tiffany asked me to bring the bags. So, and speaking of Tiffany, how about a big shout-out to her, Tiffany Fields and Katie Krantz for they put that together.
They always do a great job. I feel like they don't get enough appreciation for everything they do for a lot of people at work and out of work.
Out of work, too. Yeah.
So
they know
thank you.
They are the life of the party, and they're the heart of the party.
Yeah,
for sure. Wouldn't you think?
They really do a great job.
Yeah, big thanks to Tiffany and Katie. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah,
that's cool. I love our shout outs. So, and also,
I do too.
We got to give just a huge shout out. He's really become a dear friend to me, Brandon Keel.
Yeah,
and I know you guys are getting to know each other.
We got to know each other here recently too. It kind of goes back to what we talked about. I feel like people come into your life at the right time when they need to be, and I really, am glad to have met and got to know Brandon.
Yeah, and like he said, Brandon was listening to the podcast the other day, and he says, it's funny because I felt like I was sitting at the lunch table. I was like, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's great. I kind of feel
that's
like
a good compliment.
Yeah,
I thought.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So we'll have to get Brandon over here. I'll hook up the third mic. We'll get him over here. We can get Deeves awesome. Over here. Maybe all four of us.
Yeah. That'll be fun. That'll be a show.
Yeah. Now is he still coaching with you?
Yeah, he is.
Awesome.
Which is great. I'm excited for it. Speaking, we just completed our first week of practice.
Okay.
So we had I think 130 kids out on the football field working different stations, and they worked hard. The weather was rough this week. I mean, hot, humid. Thursday we had one heck of a downpour. And other than the cheering, they stayed focused and kept going.
And how old?
Anywhere from 7 to 12 years old. So
130 of those kids at that age, and they stayed driven. They were driven.
Yeah. It's going to be an exciting year.
That's great.
Speaking of shout outs, I do want to shout out Eric Leffler. He is an amazing guy. He does an awesome job keeping that program going each and every day. I really appreciate everything he does, and I think everybody a part of the program does too. So
Eric Dr. Leffler.
He's a good guy.
Yep.
I look up to him. I really do. Just the way
cool.
he keeps everything in perspective, and he's just
He's I can tell because I hang out with him a couple times a year.
Yeah.
And or at least around him, I should say. And I can tell he's just very pays attention to detail,
Yes.
and he
Yeah.
seems like he's organized.
Mhm.
You know, and I know he's an excellent chiropractor. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So it's going to be a fun year. I'm excited to get going. I can't wait. Football season's
Yeah.
back. It does kind of suck that I know what's coming up next, and it's that winter weather stuff.
Yeah.
But you know,
Well, football
it's
and
Indiana.
fun's a blast, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Up
thing.
until what, December maybe?
Yeah, I think it gets a little too cold.
Well,
It starts to hurt.
so over the last 35 years, you play as much as you can
Mhm.
if you want, right? So, and then you play outside a lot. So anymore, Bees and I don't play outside in October because it's too cold.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so cold it'll warp your little ukulele. It'll warp the bass. And my
That's-
fingers get so cold they turn blue, and
no,
I look like
don't
Mr.
that.
Freeze. And
Yeah.
so we seldom, and I mean seldom, play outside
Yeah.
in October anymore.
And you never know around here anymore either. I mean, it could be.
It's gonna snow on
Yeah,
Halloween.
yeah.
Snowed last year.
Yeah, you could get
I'm not-
65, or you could get 30.
I'm out front. I got the walkways all lit up on Halloween. I got fog machines going, and it snowed the day the trick or treaters came.
It's such a
like
bummer.
20 minutes before 6 p.m. And snowing. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah. I
Crazy.
saw I was at Costco and Sam's over the week and saw one of the coolest Halloween decorations. I know I said it was a little too early, but this
Wait,
one,
you saw one already?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
and I'm not upset about it because it was the coolest werewolf animatronic.
animatronics,
it was
man.
so awesome. So I don't know how much it was. I was afraid to look, but
It was cool.
Yeah.
At Costco.
yeah,
And it was a
Costco or
werewolf?
Sam's, one of the
Yeah.
two. Yeah,
All
it was
right.
really neat.
Well, and did you notice last year, maybe even the year before, the huge 20-foot
Oh man, skeletons.
things like that?
Yeah,
they
and
got
they got-
all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah,
They're huge.
they're massive.
My friend Shep, shout out to Jeff Shepard down in
Yeah.
North Manchester. Shep had 4 or 5 of them in his yard. A couple skeletons, a werewolf,
Yeah.
and maybe another kind of monster. And then he goes out there and he plays his guitar. He's got an awesome collection. So he picked a Halloween themed guitar,
Yeah,
right? Or one of his monster guitars. I can't remember what he did last year, but he goes out there and he plays a bunch of spooky riffs and
oh,
licks
that's
and stuff.
cool.
Yeah, it's totally awesome. So check this out. Speaking of Shep down there in North Manchester, I'm going to do the rock and roll rundown down with him for Halloween this year.
Oh, cool.
And we're going to have his big,
Yeah.
all his yard monsters in the
I love it.
background and stuff. Isn't that going to be
That's
cool?
gonna be awesome.
And
I
Shep's
like
going to
that.
be, he'll be dressed up playing. He's going to be
Yes.
playing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're going to
That's
do the
exciting.
rundown for Halloween like that.
no, I like that.
And
I like that.
he wanted to do it last year, but it's such a it's time consuming
Mhm.
as it is, and I'm not the most organized person. I'm quite the procrastinator. But
Me too.
I told him,
Yeah,
I told him last week. I said, hey, let's start planning for the rundown so we can do it Halloween at your place.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be cool. So I'm gonna take a mobile setup, down to North Manchester, and we're gonna do it down there.
that would be fun.
That's gonna be cool.
That's
Yeah. So the Halloween decorations are already out, folks. It's August 3rd. That's
School
crazy.
School
Yeah.
starts
next
next week
Wednesday?
or so.
Yeah, next
No.
Wednesday or Thursday.
Why, yeah.
Why they do that?
Great question.
They must have their reasons.
Yeah,
I suppose it has to do with this is how many days of the year we need. It
Mhm.
starts here. So okay, that's cool.
yeah.
But it's why not start on Monday and get them just it's just Monday suck. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Let's get them through it.
Get 'em-
But
yeah.
maybe that's why they don't do it. Yeah, so we have freshman orientation this week, this
Ooh.
coming week.
Yeah.
On the 8th. So, yeah, my daughter's going to be a freshman. And she had her last day of physical therapy for her knee.
Hey.
She had surgery
Great news.
back in April. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that therapist, man, he was really good there at Indiana Physical Therapy in Warsaw. He
Yeah.
had her doing, I was like, holy cow. And of course, I can tell she's out of shape. She hadn't been able to ride her bike or do a whole lot, go out and shoot in the driveway like she does. And her and I would be, practicing softball and whatnot. So she couldn't do a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
So I could tell she was out of shape, but she's still strong. I was like, oh wow. I said, yeah, you're gonna be ready. So
Kids are resilient.
they're
tough.
yeah, they are resilient, and if they love what they're doing, especially sports, they'll find a way. So
Yeah.
we got basketball. She's gonna miss volleyball. She's gonna be a manager, so she can stay with the team.
Yeah. Stay
She's
with them.
Yeah, she's a killer, man.
Yeah.
She grew to love volleyball, and her team, her travel team she had last year they were tough.
Were they?
Yeah, once they learned how to play as a team, Josh, and it took them about four games maybe. Yeah, and then it clicked when we went up to Sandusky, Ohio. It clicked, and boom, that was it, man. They really kicked some butt after that. It was fun to watch.
It's that's the one thing that's nice. You see a lot of teams, especially young teams in the beginning, they struggle to kind of gel at first, but once they get it, they start figuring it out, and it's night and day from start to finish.
Sure. I better turn that off. Forgot to turn the air conditioner down here in my studio is on, folks, so I apologize if you can hear it. But I can turn that off with my phone and make my wife mad. Why is it so hot? What? She only gets mad if I forget to turn it back on. So
yeah. Oh.
It does happen. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll shut that off. That'll turn off. If you can hear it, folks, I apologize. I forgot to turn it off. Like the other day when I forgot to turn the audio on and we recorded a whole podcast without any audio.
We still had fun.
Yeah, it was still cool.
It was a good conversation.
And we're still learning.
You missed out on the good conversation.
That was a good one, but I think we're getting better, though.
Yeah, we're getting better.
We're getting more used to, the mics and the cameras and the roadcaster here. Yeah. Wow, it sounds great.
Oh, it always, yeah.
And plus all your templates. Man, look at the Death Star. Just shot the laser beam. Blew up Jeddah. That was an awesome scene, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, man.
That
was wild.
I was in the theater, and remember when Krennic goes, oh, it's beautiful. I'm like, yes, it is. Yeah. It is beautiful. Yeah. It was totally freaking awesome.
It's even more terrifying seeing it from that perspective than what it was.
From space and just watching Alderaan blow up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, my gosh, that is devastating. And we already knew the power of the Death Star could destroy an entire planet. So and then of course they smoked Scarif there at the end.
Oh yeah,
that was cool. I remember the theme, or not the theme, but the meme was they named Rogue One. It was the wrong name. They should have named it Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah,
I was like, yes,
yeah,
that would have been a perfect meme.
Well, it was crazy there watching that movie because I'm just like I'm thinking to myself, man, yeah, the whole time they're gonna be fine. They're the main characters and all that, and then it kind of hit me. I'm like, oh wait, there was no mention of these characters ever anywhere at any point in time, and then you hear many Balkans died. And I'm like, oh, it clicked, clicked on me, and then it happened. Yeah. Spoiler alert.
And then remember Stewie when he was Darth Vader? He goes, "Oh, what? No, what's that?" I mean, if there's a weakness, we should probably know about it, right?
I feel like that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I feel like that might be.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's fine.
I love those movies. Yeah. Seth MacFarlane.
He nailed it.
The whole crew.
When obviously he was a fan because the first few seasons you saw his references to pop culture were just perfect, and they were what we like, guys like you and me.
Yeah.
Boba Fett, okay, very cool. The Star Wars glasses from McDonald's that Brian had, or the Peter was all about, Yeah, they always referenced. And Peter, when he went back to high school, he named himself Lando. Yeah, right. How cool is Lando? You never hear a kid named Lando. I love it.
So I like Formula One, and one of the drivers, Lando Norris.
Seriously,
yeah. And when he first came in, I was like, "This is great," And then watching him race and then getting to know him a little bit, through the documentary they have on Netflix, Drive to Survive, and everything. I'm like, he's awesome. Yeah. Like Lando Norris.
So he lived up to his the namesake, right?
Yeah, it's the only person I have ever seen with the name Lando, and I almost named my dog Lando.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a dog name.
Yeah,
that I have someday.
He's just not as smooth, so
I would have named the two I have now a Star Wars, but the kids wanted to name them after their favorite NBA players. So Lando's cool though.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be cool if you're named Lando.
Yeah.
Even in the Rise of Skywalker,
Mm-hmm.
even though it was
Yeah.
kind of horribly written, right?
He pops up,
He
and
was
you're like,
so
yes.
cool. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't care how bad this movie is. If
Yeah.
Lando's in it, and whatever he says, I'm cool with. You
Yeah.
know, and he
Billy
was
D.
awesome.
Williams.
Yeah, just cool. I got to say hi to him. I didn't necessarily meet him 'cause his line was huge at
Yeah.
convention 1 and I think he was there for 1 and 2, or no, I'm sorry, 2 and 3. His lines was huge, so he wasn't saying much. He had his little tinted glasses on. He'd sign the autographs
Yeah.
and thank you very much. He was quick, so I wasn't in his line, and but I was close enough to say, "Hey, Billy D." He goes like that, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll take that, man.
I'll take that, yeah.
He winked and clicked
Oh
at me.
man,
You know?
like that's
Yeah.
that's cooler than an autograph
Yeah, you know,
to me at that point.
that
Yeah,
was cool.
like that's an awesome memory.
That's Lando. He's
Yeah.
cool. What more can you say?
You know who's a really cool guy to see at a convention? I didn't get to meet him, and I didn't get to go through his line, but John Rhys Davies,
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. I
Such a
believe
cool
it.
guy. He's
He was on the Inside of You podcast with Michael Rosenbaum
yeah.
a couple months ago, and he was just I'm like, oh my god, this guy's awesome. Huge blockbuster movies. Of course, the what was he in the Lord of the Rings?
Gimli. Yeah,
What were they? Dwarves.
Dwarves.
Yeah, man, he was amazing.
Dangerous in a
that.
short distance.
Yeah, and that was a great movie.
Yeah,
Or all three of them that he was in, just amazing.
amazing actor. Yeah, no, he's awesome.
And Sliders is one of my favorite shows. I used to love Sliders. It was on Sci-Fi Channel back in the late '90s, early 2000s. Great show.
Oh.
Yeah, Sliders.
I might be thinking of another one.
And it had him and the fella that was in Stand By Me, O'Connell,
Jerry O'Connell, yeah.
It had him in it too.
Yeah.
Just two of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry was really cool. That show was great. If you ever get a chance to check it out on YouTube, Sliders,
Yeah.
watch some of those episodes. You'll get a kick out of it. Yeah.
I'll check that out.
John's awesome, man.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like him. Yeah,
Yeah, he'd definitely be one you want to meet, you know.
he was awesome. Somebody brought in an axe, a replica
Ah.
axe from Lord of the Rings, and without missing a beat, he went into, you know, do you know how to take down an orc, and like he's just in Gimli mode, and oh man, it was so cool just watching that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those where it's like you want to pull out your camera or pull out your phone and start recording it, but then on the
Yeah.
other hand, it's like I want to be respectful because
Right.
you know it's not really my place to do that. But
Sometimes I don't record. Sometimes I leave
Just
my
enjoy the
camera right
moment.
in the pocket and I enjoy the moment. You know, I went to see Steve Vai and Joe Satriani with my good friend Ron Harmon a couple months ago at the Embassy Theater there in
Yeah.
Fort Wayne, and there was two ladies in front of us, and one of them was holding up her phone right in front of and I'm like, I can't see. Come on, and I wasn't rude. I was trying to flag down an usher to maybe say something to her, but I was like, I know that's a gripe with concert goers a lot, and some people take out an iPad. I'm like, come on.
I know that's
At least-
aggressive.
Yeah, at least see who's behind
That's
you.
really
you know?
aggressive.
So when I do that, if I take pictures or film someone like that, because I sit up close a lot,
Mhm.
man, it's out for just like, and it's here. It's not up here. It's
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So you can see my head if you're behind me,
Yeah.
but you're not going to see this. You're not going to see my phone right there.
So, what are your thoughts on the Meta glasses? The Ray-Bans that's got the little camera and
yeah.
stuff in them.
I'm
I'm fascinated by them.
I think a lot of that technology is just awesome as heck.
Yeah.
I put a pair on at Best Buy,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, sweet.
Yeah. The only
It-
thing I wish I could do, they would have
Well-
it on there though, so I could see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm looking at.
Okay, so skip all that. It's only Josh. Here's my point. That stuff's really cool,
Mhm.
but there's going to be something they can implant
Oh, I know.
that's going to put it right there,
Yeah.
or maybe a contact lens.
That's
You know what I'm
I
saying?
think
They
that's
put the
like the next
contact in.
jump eventually. You know.
I knew this guy back in 2000. When was this? I was on second shift. 2013 maybe. Okay, this guy was cool. I worked with him. Nice man. And he was a bit older, and he goes, it's only a matter of time before, you just push your tongue on your teeth and you'll be able to click on your camera and your phone. And I thought, that's the silliest thing I
Yeah.
ever heard. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, well, yeah, there might come a day where we go, there's YouTube.
Was the movie Hall Pass when he's sitting there? He's
Yes.
he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm taking mental
I'm
pictures."
taking mental pictures. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
That's going to be our cameras next.
yeah. Well, put those contacts in. I know they've got them.
Yeah, they got to have
someone in intelligence, whether it's the Mossad, the CIA, or
There's got to be
MI6.
something, right?
You know they're using that.
Yeah.
They got to be.
Yeah.
They got to be. And how do they operate it? I imagine their pupil would be the mouse, right? And then maybe blink and you click. I don't know. Something,
yeah.
right? I don't know if that's a fact, but that's my guess.
I mean, I don't get too surprised when stuff like that there is announced. Eventually,
Eventually,
kind of like the stealth helicopters and stuff, and you're like, oh, I mean, yeah, sure, we gotta have. I mean,
stealth submarines, stealth helicopters.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool thought, and I mean, what was it? I was talking to somebody about The Simpsons, and they were saying, I think it was Deeves. We were talking about how crazy it is that The Simpsons have like predicted so many different things. And I heard a story from Matt Groening where he basically said, we just imagine the wildest stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the craziest stuff is that we're thinking about at that moment, we put it in.
And that's what they put in.
And then it happens. And what's that say about reality? Like it's wild, right?
Art imitates life. Or life can imitate art, right? So it must be a balance, a synchronicity between the two. And that might have a lot to do with group. I don't want to say group think, but the power of people thinking.
Yeah.
And maybe it's coming through like that. Because The Simpsons, they predicted quite a bit. Hell, they had a show about 9/11. Not 9/11. I'm sorry. They had a show where they went to the Twin Towers in New York City. It was a funny show, because Homer was supposed to go up in one of them, and he went up the wrong tower. You went up the wrong one. He's like, no.
He's gonna go all the way back down.
Go. Oh man, I love that show. I watched that show religiously for about at least 20 years. Religiously because especially when it came on Sunday night.
Yes,
and, I watched for a
the
long
Sunday
time.
animation. Yeah. I would go from watching football all day, transition into that.
And it when I watched the new episodes.
Sorry.
When I watched seasons 30, 31, 32.
Allergies are getting the best of me.
They still made me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
And a lot of it went woke and whatnot, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it still made me laugh out loud. I'm like, oh my God, 33 years later, and I'm still laughing.
Yeah.
And some of it was hysterical. I'm like, oh my God, that show was so funny.
What's fun is going down to Universal Studios. Right now, I mean, I would try to get there quick over the next couple of years because it sounds like it may be going away now that they're with Disney. But Universal Studios has a cool little spot dedicated to Springfield and The Simpsons, and you can go in and get a Krusty Burger, or you can go to the Frying Dutchman and get some chicken strips and
Frying Dutchman.
Or no, I'm not chicken strips, fish.
Yeah,
it's Frying Dutchman.
Yeah.
They've got different, so it's kind of neat. It's set up, and then they play little clips and things from the show over the years, and you can go to Bumblebee Man taco truck, get some tacos, which are pretty good tacos. You can get a Duff beer at Moe's Tavern, and it's specifically made for the park.
That's awesome. I would definitely drink a Duff beer.
It's pretty good. It's got a
Duff Man.
Oh yeah. Every time I go through there, Duff.
Oh, yeah. And remember Phil Hartman?
Yeah. The great Phil Hartman.
Troy McClure.
Yeah.
I'm Troy McClure. You might remember me from such films as my friends and I quoted that for the longest time.
That's a testament to good writing, creativity, the longevity that show had.
Excellent comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God, was it funny? And I do recall when The Simpsons first came on, when it became a syndicated show there after the Tracy Ullman show.
Mm-hmm.
It was about Bart. Cowabunga, eat my shorts, don't have a cow, man.
Yeah.
And then season 2 or 3, man, it suddenly became about Homer.
Oh yeah, love Homer. He's such an iconic character.
Yeah. My dogs are just come on. And they're scratching and yes, we don't need to do that, boys. I'll have to get them up on the camera sometime. Yeah, no, Homer. I love The Simpsons. Lisa's my favorite. Because I'm not. There's a, because she's the liberal of the, of the 4 or 5 of them, and I'm not necessarily like that, at least politically. But there's a lot of ways I'm very liberal, and it's also being like the balance, like we talked about earlier this morning, balance,
Yeah.
the yin and the yang. It's good to have that. It's good to have an open mind, and she would make me think about things the way Yardley would present them, and they obviously were written for people to bring attention to it, right? And I always appreciated Lisa. She was my favorite, and she cracks me up,
I appreciate thinkers, people that just make you kind of think about stuff. Oh, kind of challenge.
It's good to have an open mind. It's not only good to have an open mind; it's good to have an open heart.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. That's a big one.
Yeah, we need a little more of that. I think, at least in this country. I can't tell you about other people in the world. I mean, but I can say this country could use a little more open-mindedness, open heart,
for sure. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Simpsons shows like that, man. They kind of, they could make you think, and not only laugh hysterically, but make you think. And I always appreciated that writing for sure.
That's I mean, it's always kind of nice when you can laugh, but also go, okay, different theories and stuff. I mean, speaking of theories, it make you kind of think a little bit. Kind of going back to Star Wars. Kind of fitting that we're in the Star Wars overlay theme right now.
Yeah, we better talk about it.
So, I think I was talking to Brandon about it the other day. The part in the Death Star when Vader mentions he feels something that he hasn't felt since, and he just kind of trails off. And instantly, you're thinking when you're watching it at that time, oh, Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's what it is. But I was watching something where they ended up mentioning, well, what if it was actually Luke and Leia?
2 of his children.
Exactly.
His 2 children are on the Death Star.
Yeah. And you have Obi-Wan and both of his kids in the same spot since the first time in 20 years.
19, right.
Yeah.
So,
because he never says anything. So I was like, dude, that's such a great thought.
Yeah. We know since the movie came out in 1977 and the rest of it wasn't written, that it was probably meant for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
But it's open to think, no, he's talking about all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Because
that's got to be a powerful feeling, right?
So when you think about that, how cool is that?
Yeah.
And, I got to be honest with you. If someone redid those movies, okay, and put things like that in there, how deep that would be, I'd be okay with it. I hate to say it. I know they're classics.
Yeah.
I get that. But with the technology and some of the effects we could use now, we could put in there now. If they redid those movies, as long as they kept, if they did it right, they can't. None of this, Disney's got to be careful with that. I doubt they'll do it, but there's some things they could definitely hit on and make better. That would be really cool. Like, oh my God, I'm Darth Vader. Yeah, it's not just Obi-Wan. What is going on? Why is the Force going crazy?
Yeah,
inside,
there's so much.
That disturbance. What is that? Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
It really, it would be, man.
Did you ever see that one YouTube video where someone redid the Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fight scene?
That is
wasn't that amazing,
one of the coolest fan
yeah
videos ever.
They rocked it.
So good.
They rocked it.
That was incredible. I mean, obviously they couldn't do it in the 70s, right? I mean, that would have been a lot, especially with Alec Guinness.
Yeah, and the limitations of the suit,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He could, they couldn't see.
Couldn't see. Couldn't even lift his arms up.
Yeah, couldn't hear very well.
Yeah. But that was incredible. It was so cool. Yeah.
That was neat.
It really kind of made you go,
oh boy, slide that in there, will you?
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it's things like that that make me say, okay, you can redo these 3 movies, but no woke crap, no
Just let
agenda.
the fans do it.
Let
the fans do it.
And let the Disney people say, okay, yeah, we'll take all these ideas. We know the story.
Mm-hmm.
Get the great actors. We can enhance everything, and just don't steer from the story.
Yeah.
Don't steer from the story. Just make it enhance it and make it better. Make those presence I've not felt since. Make that about Luke, Leia, and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Hey, my 2 children are actually here, and the Force is going crazy.
Yeah.
And there's of course other things.
Even a good cut, like you hear Vader say it, and then it can all be insinuated with a nice cut right to all 3 of them.
All 3 of them.
On a different part of the Death Star. That way it's hinted at. Filmmakers are so creative with how they do things. They foreshadow things now without foreshadowing on that as much. Little hints, little Easter eggs and stuff, and then later on you're like, oh,
telling you,
they got me.
It's made in the edit, isn't it?
Yeah,
because and you're starting to edit videos
Mm-hmm.
now, aren't you, at home and stuff with your gaming and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, doing the rundown here the last 3 years, now doing this, and some of the videos I got coming, editing, it's work, it's fun, but man, it's magic.
Yeah,
you make these videos, which by the way, your what are we calling it?
Oh,
overlay
yeah.
is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
So let's tell the folks that we're going to do. I told Josh, I said, let's do for our YouTube channel. Let's do a Star Wars video where one of us will dress up as a Sith, the other a Jedi, and then we're going to display the lightsabers, the different the collections that we have. So
Rocker really twisted my arm on that. I was like, oh no,
no.
Okay, let's
have
do
to
it.
Wear, it's just he comes down to my studio, folks. I got this mirror from 1982 as my grandparents, which by the way was featured in the show The Americans. Not this exact one, but that exact same mirror.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was in the show The Americans. I remember seeing it on the set in their house. The Russians' house.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's my grandparents' mirror. But so I got I got all kinds of costume stuff that's hanging on it. Yeah. So maybe you've seen Commander Von Stoop or something like that on my YouTube channel. But yeah, all my costumes over there. So yeah, but we're gonna use the green screen and we'll do a Star Wars video and showcase some lightsabers.
I'm excited for that. Yeah.
Is your arm twisted enough?
Oh man.
Can you handle it?
Oh no.
Oh, that'll be fun.
No, not lightsabers. I can't do that.
Heck yeah. And we'll do this template again here, this overlay. Man, that was cool. The Death Star, that's pretty neat. Well, let's see, Josh. We're at 32 minutes.
That was fast.
It's only here before too long. I'm sure we'll have enough bandwidth to go an hour.
Yeah.
So, folks, if you like what you hear and see, please like and subscribe on the YouTube channels. The Macker Podcast YouTube channel will be coming out. We might have to rename it something else since we're going to do other videos too. But Josh and I will have a dedicated YouTube channel for our podcast and other videos, Mac and Rocker. Yeah. And so click like, subscribe, share. That's how you can support us right now.
Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Share with friends.
Yeah, please do. And also leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. So
hey, hit us up with some topics too. I mean, if you got any topics that you are interested in hearing us discuss.
Yeah, Josh and I know a lot about pop culture, sports, entertainment, stuff like that. We're going to steer away from politics and religion, I think, even though we're both, involved in stuff like that. But we keep that off the channel for a while. So
need a nice bright retreat.
Yeah, we need some
positivity.
Positivity and community. We also talk about the community we live in, which we love here in northern Indiana. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye, everybody.